you don't have to worry about your friends, the 6,000 people who made it this far were logged out of the game a few minutes ago.
What about the 4,000 people who didn't?
Well, anyone who dies in the real world or virtual won't be coming back.
Why?
That's a good question. I honestly don't remember. It's been such a long time. Welcome back, my royal disciples, and I'm here yet again with Simply Stimpy and Canaanite to my next dubbed anime review. I personally am very excited about this review. I've been waiting to do this review. It's my favorite anime, and it is Sword Art Online. Now, given note, there's going to be a continuation, or an updated version rather, of this review in the next year, because I want to read the novel of this anime, and also I want to watch the second season of this anime, and after that there will be another updated version, better stuff, and I hope you join me on that one too. And our first category will be soundtrack. I personally thought the overall soundtrack for the openings and any scene during the anime was very close to me. Like, I didn't have a favorite part, or they were all very good. The whole soundtrack to the entire anime was extremely well made and kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time whenever they had an epic battle, or even the opening. I loved the opening. Every part of this anime was just an overall great soundtrack, in my opinion. What about you guys?
See, I like the opening. I also like the endings, the closing songs. I thought those were great, and I haven't really seen a good closing song in an anime besides like this one. You know, I thought all the dramatic music, all the fighting music and stuff like that, I thought those were great.
Yeah, there's not much else to say besides it.
Yeah,
to me, it was just great. I don't know what other way to
awesome.
describe it. It was just a great soundtrack to this anime.
Pretty awesome, man. What do you think?
What about you, Kane?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good soundtrack overall. It wasn't my favorite, but you know, I think I like the intros a lot more than the outros.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what 90% of all animes.
Yeah.
It's very hard to keep an outro theme interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I do prefer the intros and the theme songs that are more lively and more exciting. They get you more excited for each episode every time you see it come on.
The only thing I never really liked about the animes, all animes in general, is that they show parts of the anime in the opening. So if you've never seen the anime before, it gives away a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, I pointed that out to you.
Yeah.
That's
many
most
times.
of them, though.
It's frustrating.
It still keeps. It's still cool. The intro is very awesome. It's just overall in animes, I think they should cut out less scenes of the actual anime and put more like other stuff
I
in
mean,
it.
at least they didn't give away huge scenes.
Yeah, they didn't.
You know?
It's the only little nick.
You know, a lot of animes, they do give away a lot.
Yeah.
A lot
Like-
of big, important
Like
plot
Fairy
points.
Tail. Fairy Tail does that.
Yeah.
I get pissed whenever I watch the intro.
Like there have been a few animes that we watched where they'll actually show like big scenes from like the endings.
Yeah, big fighting scenes like the final battle. Why would you show that in the intro? Show another fight, like a fight that's off to the side or a filler or something like that, if anything. But a big fight they shouldn't really be showing in the intro, in my opinion. But it still doesn't bring down my rating at all really towards the soundtrack itself, because it's just like, it's showing scenes, it's not the soundtrack that needs work, it's just the scenes itself. But my overall rating towards the soundtrack, I will give just an A. Just an A. You know,
Just an A.
Just an A.
Alright. Well, for me, for the soundtrack, I thought it was great. Wasn't my favorite, though. I go B+.
Plus, alright.
And for me, like I said, it wasn't my favorite soundtrack, but it was alright, you know, it was good. The intros were more exciting than anything else, I thought. I think I'll give it C+ for me, for the music.
It's almost an E.
It's a C.
Alright. And our next category is characters. The main characters of this story are Kazuto, Asuna, and a little bit of Yui, and a lot of other side characters like Klein, and a few other characters that for me just didn't feel too important story-wise. They were just kind of there. They had they were in filler episodes, but none of which really had a major part. They just kind of built up to the story and how much they really needed to get out of this death game that they're in. But that was about all the characters really did. Besides, I don't really have a personal favorite in this anime. Like, for example, if I made a top 10 characters, no one from this anime would really be in that category really for me. But I still enjoyed watching this anime. The characters were really good. but there was just no characters that really stuck out to me personally that I really felt like, oh, this guy's amazing. Like, for me, the most entertaining person to watch was Kirito Kazuto. So to me, that was like the best one, the most entertaining. Asuno would play the best, but it's mostly because they're the main people. Like, they show like all the side characters, like one filler episode, then they kind of flash back to them. They never really get much more into them. But for me, that's about all I have to say about the characters. What about you guys?
See, me, I thought Asuna really stuck out because in the beginning she has that robe on. You think that she's like this new character, you know. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing at all. She ends up being probably one of the strongest characters in the game.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, I thought she was pretty awesome. She's definitely one of my top characters overall for me.
I liked Asuna, but she just didn't really... Besides that one moment where they had that... The robe came off and that glimmer and show her in action, that was like the best wow moment for her.
I'll go too.
Okay. We'll hit them just like we did the minions.
You got it.
Switch! Asuna!
But other than that, nothing really, just like seemed like a normal girly girl stuck in a game to me. But that's about it with her and me. What about you, K Knight?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way that that King felt about the characters. There wasn't really one that stuck out to me that I was able to latch onto, that I could consider my favorite overall. You know, I was kind of felt the same about most of them. If I absolutely had to choose, a favorite, I'd probably pick Kirito, mainly because, like he said, he seemed to be the most interesting and the most entertaining character to watch.
I feel like I could relate to him, but he still wasn't my. I didn't really, it wasn't that like original. Like, I feel like most MMO people would be like that. I feel like they just chose him to be the hero. I feel like most people that were on an MMO game like that probably have the same kind of similar story. Like, they didn't have a lot of friends and they were just on the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you, like, my least favorite character.
Oh,
yeah. That would probably have to be Yui. And
he doesn't like kids in anime.
I feel like he just hates that voice actress. Honestly.
He doesn't.
It's not that I hate her. I just want her to die.
Hates the voice actress. That's really
I liked Yui. I really liked Yui a lot.
She's just so annoying. It's just like that. Oh.
I'd like to point out that any person that has that same voice in any anime, he despises.
And I don't recognize the voice. It's just that voice on certain characters in anime just makes me want to just.
It
Maybe
happens to
it's
be
just
the
the dub.
same
I don't know
one.
if you. Some people probably have a different
Maybe.
viewpoint. I
Maybe.
mean, some people usually hate all of dub, like
Yeah,
most.
because they're fags.
It's not a good thing to. Alright. But anyway, everybody has to each their own opinion. I personally don't care if you watch subbed or dubbed. I just want to watch the anime and know the story, and
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter to me.
I don't really care either way, you know. And my personal preference, I just prefer the English version just because it's easier for me to watch, easier for me to get into.
Same with me. I don't like reading the subtitles. I don't feel like I want to learn an entire language to be able to watch the anime.
I mean, certain things, there have been very few like movies in the past where foreign films that I've been able to watch all the way and still be entertained, but it really takes a lot for me to be entertained by a foreign film. But something like these things, it's just I'd rather be able to understand what they're
I
saying.
could never do subbed because it just takes away from everything, takes away from feeling, and I just couldn't. Because you're trying to read the screen while watching.
Yeah, but
at
I
the same
understand
time.
where sub people get, like, I feel like the sub voice actors are better if you understand what they're saying. Like, I can feel like they have more emotion in their voice than...
I feel like they all
I
sound
will
exactly
agree
the
with that.
same.
I feel like it makes the anime, you get more into the anime if you watch it with the original actors and how it was supposed to be made. It just annoys me that I have to watch the subtitles.
And it actually works vice versa too, because like I've seen shows that were made in English, and if you watch them with, whether they're dubbed in like Spanish or something like that, it's just not the same. There's not the same passion or whatever through the voice acting. Whereas with this, it's, as you were saying, you'd probably be right that the dubbed version would probably have more emotion, more passion. You know, because
I agree with that. Yes.
I think those characters, the dialogue and everything was written to be spoken in that
Then
language.
yeah, but I still, it doesn't affect the story or anything overall. I just feel like I understand where the sub viewers are coming
Japanese voice actors suck.
from. But
Honestly,
anyway,
I just want to say one last thing is I do see kind of the appeal of things with subtitles because it could make a lot of people feel like they're not only like reading a book but
Yeah.
also being able to see the visualization
yeah, the same.
of
There's
it.
a lot of different viewpoints. I just personally like watching the dub. That's all there is to it. No offense to anyone who likes watching the sub.
Full of
But-
stuff.
My rating towards the characters, they were all great characters. Not really one that stuck out to me, but I will give it a B+. Almost an A. If they had that character that stuck out with me, it would have been an A. But I still enjoyed it. Awesome characters, but not one that stuck out to me.
I feel like that's a fair rating, so I'll give it a B+ as well. That's a plus. That's supposed to be a 9.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
That's a B+.
supposed
Yeah, for my
They
rating,
don't pay me to write.
from my yeah, you can tell. For my rating, you know, the characters were alright. There wasn't really one, like I said, that stuck out to me. So I think I'm gonna be what I think it would be a little more fair. I'm just gonna go for a solid B.
Still a fair rating. I don't have any problem with that. But yeah.
It's a perfect B. What the hell are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
You wanna say those look like Madonna tits? That looks like Madonna tits.
Alright, and our next category is story. For one, the story was great. It mostly revolves around, as I said, the same 3 characters, like 40% Kirito, 40% Asuna, and then 20% Yui. And the first part, she only really had 1 episode, but in the next half, she was in the anime itself. It has a lot of side characters, but I say I would lower my percent. They have like 10% side characters, 15% side characters. They're just there, but they have no real role, or you don't really get to know them that much. But the story overall is that casual MMO player goes into this online world, and it turns into a death game, where if you die in the game, you die in real life. And the only way you get out of it is by beating all 100 floors. Each floor has a boss, and get to the final floor and beat the final boss, and then you can finally log out of this game. And they're just in this game for like 2 years, bodies decaying in real life in hospitals. I think 4,000 people died in the anime.
Something weird.
There was like 10,000 people in this game and 4,000 died. And it really makes it more intense, like seeing these people die around you in the anime. Like the one girl, when Kirito joins this guild, she dies off, and then it finally sets in, I think, in his head that this is really happening. Like, I need to step it up.
Yeah.
But story for me, overall, I'll give it an A. What did you guys think about the story?
I love the story. Cut you off there. I love the story. I thought it was a lot different than anything we had seen already. I was very, very skeptical going into this one because you told me around what it was, but when I actually saw it...
It was played off really well.
Yeah, when I saw it and it was executed, I thought it was great. And I actually liked the fact that they had those filler episodes because in its own way it did give, a view as to how other people felt about the game and what they were doing and going through. So, overall for the story, I'll go ahead, I'll give it an A.
Yeah, I really liked the story. It's just my personal opinion. I don't think they followed through with the story that was initially set up in the first episode as well as they could have.
Yeah.
Because I really think that the story would have been improved had the game master had been around more, and because they really made you think in that first episode that the game master is going to be this major villain, the one who's trapped them there in this game world.
And then they try to make him feel like more of a good guy in some parts, bad guy in other parts.
Yeah. And I do feel like the filler, even though the filler helped build some characters and move the story along, I do feel like those fillers also kind of hurt the initial point of the story, and it kind of got it a little off track and kind of dragged it out a lot more than it needed to be, in my opinion.
For me, like halfway through the anime, the first season of this anime itself, it switches to a totally new world, which I felt like was a bit unnecessary. I would have liked it if they actually made 3 seasons instead of 1 season where they cramped 2 stories into one,
Yeah.
and then another whole story in the next season. I don't know where that season's going, so they might have done the same thing with the next season. I don't know yet, because it's still in the making. They're at episode 5 or 6 or
Yeah,
something.
they're on like 5, I think.
So, but overall, it didn't really. I felt like it could have been better, but that's how I think about all anime. So I didn't really bring down my rating
Well,
on that.
it's not that I didn't think it was good. I thought it was really good. I just thought that it could have been even better than
Yeah.
it was.
That's
Yeah.
that's how I feel towards all anime. So I try not to bring my rating down. I just kind of appreciate it for what it is, even though
Yeah,
it could have been better.
It's still, even on its own, it's still really smart in the way that they do end up ending the story and everything and following through as the anime moves along. It's still really smart, really well written, and it makes sense. You know, and it is entertaining, and it keeps you involved. It
Yes.
makes you want to see what's going to happen next. So I think overall, I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as those guys did, but I think for the story, I'm gonna go with a B+.
And let's see, what else about the story? There's a couple things about the story I wanted to talk about. Like the one part where at the beginning, like you said before while they were watching it, when he actually says why he wanted to make this world, the game master. And then I don't understand why they were like trying to figure out why he made this world when they stated in the beginning
he
wanted
literally said it.
Yeah,
in
he
the
wanted
beginning.
to make his own world so he can control do whatever he
He wanted
pretty
to be
much.
a god, pretty much.
Yeah. And then when he asks him, I don't know, like, did everybody just miss that part in the beginning where he's like, I wanted my own world?
I guess they were all just like, spacing out.
Yeah, I guess they were all in shock that this game, I guess they just forgot what he said. But I mean, when they ask him, why'd you do it, man? Oh, I kind of forgot. I guess we all did.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I think the people who watched it initially probably were more likely to forget, being that they were watching
yeah,
it
episode by episode. But I
Yeah.
still, if you watch it in a whole,
I still even remember at the end of it, I was just like, but he said why.
Yeah, he.
I was like, but back in the
You
first
never
episode,
know.
he said it.
They could have written it to be like, oh man, hopefully the audience won't notice.
Yeah.
Right,
It could have
yeah.
been one of those things.
I don't know. Alright, and we finally come to our last category, the ending and final rating category. And for me, this was, I'm probably going to give it the highest rating. It was the best part of this anime, and that's what brought it to my favorite. Like, it wasn't the characters, the soundtrack almost had me, the story had me, but if you ask me, the story was a little bit like, you think someone would have made this type of story before, but the way it was executed was very well. Like, when I first heard, like, oh, they made an anime about online gaming, I kind of, when you're a gamer, you kind of think, you really wouldn't be too surprised when you hear that somebody actually made this. And then when you actually watch it, it's very engaging, and it's actually well made, and I was very surprised, and it went right up to my top, and I was blown away by the ending. For me, like I've said before in my other reviews, a happy ending is key to me. I always just like a good happy ending, even if it's simple. Sometimes it just, I don't like bad endings. I don't like sad endings. I don't like endings that leave me wanting too much more. But for me, I just felt like it was just a great ending. Everybody, all the sacrifices were worth it. Everything in the end came together, and then it just blew me away. I just like it when there's a happy ending, everybody gets together, and the bad guy gets his ass kicked. That was like the best part.
Both of them do.
Yeah, so the ending for me overall was the best part. It was amazing. What do you guys think?
The ending was great. I'll agree with them. The ending was pretty awesome. And, I mean, I don't really
What
know
else
how
could
much.
you?
Yeah, I don't know how much I can say besides just telling you the exact ending
Yeah.
of how I thought. But I thought the ending was just great. They didn't leave anything open. There really weren't any plot holes or anything like that. I thought there was gonna be with that seed that he ended up giving him.
But then
I
they,
thought that
they
was
gave
just
all
gonna
the
be-
details, and then
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be something left until the next season
Yeah.
that they made, but turns out it wasn't. So I thought it was great overall. What'd you think?
Yeah, I really did like the ending. It was, despite any gripes that I may have had about this anime, the ending, you really can't complain about it, because it is really satisfying in just about every way possible. It's a happy ending, like he said, and I always prefer happy endings with anything. And this whole story was very well executed, and the ending was very well executed. I didn't notice, I didn't really notice any plot holes especially with the
Not
ending.
any plot holes. There were just some little nicks where like side characters would die, and it's a shame that they didn't make it. Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing. But it kind of made it seem more like well worth it in the end.
Yeah.
These people died, and then you make it to the end.
And one thing I really loved about it was how they built up the the enemy and so much that you're wanting to.
Yeah, the first time you see this anime, you're on the edge of your seat, like, I want to punch. I want to punch through my screen when I.
Especially the second enemy more so than anything.
Yeah. The first half of the anime, not so much. It was awesome. I like that one more because it was more in depth than like 8 episodes. The second half, but I mean, the ending, like the episode before the ending, when the final battle, all that stuff went down. I was on the edge of my seat my whole time.
You just want to see this guy get his ass kicked.
So
and
bad.
they build it up so well because they do things that are that make you go like holy crap, this guy's an asshole.
Yeah, he
Like,
really is.
Alright, this guy needs to friggin' die already.
Yeah.
And then once it actually happens, it's violent and it's satisfying.
He just had enough. He
Almost
just
to
had.
the point that if any diehard anime fan or diehard fan of this anime is just gonna want to stand up out of their chair and just go yeah, or just throw something through their TV because they're so happy. And just the overall ending was just really well done and really satisfying.
And I will say that it didn't go too far as to like. I will give this part away. He kills him in the game at the final battle, but when it comes down to it, he meets him in real life. He doesn't kill him, and I felt like it had more meaning than just capping the guy in real life.
Yeah. I thought he should have killed him. Just put him out of his damn misery.
I didn't. I felt like that was the one time I actually think that it was all right not to kill the guy that was in this. I think.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think that he was going to kill him because it's kind of something that happens quite often in movies and things like that, where the hero once he spends this whole long journey trying to get to this villain and trying to get revenge and trying to kill him, and then once he finally has the opportunity, he realizes if I kill you, that's gonna make me just as evil as you. You're
Yeah,
not
I
worth
see
it.
what you're saying, but it's also at the same time, if you look at it through his viewpoint, imagine if you were in love with somebody and you couldn't do anything about it, and they were in front of you just
Well, yeah.
doing something to the person you loved and cared about.
Yeah, I understand
That's
that.
why it kept me on the edge of my seat when he finally
But I mean, the thing
still
about
made him a better person, a better choice.
Yeah, the thing about it is though, if he would have killed him, it would have made him. I think it would have hurt that character. It made me like him less.
Yeah.
No,
It would've-
I would have
would've-
been like, this guy's the
Because
man.
because he showed by not killing him that he wasn't going to let the vengeance take over him and
Yeah.
rule him.
Just let it go and then be the
Yeah.
better person.
It doesn't necessarily mean that he was a pushover. It just
Yeah.
means that
He had the opportunity, and he just
Yeah.
was strong enough not to take do
I'd
that.
rather say the guy's insane, put him out of his damn misery, just slit his throat like he was about to do.
He doesn't need that blood on his hands.
Sure he does.
He doesn't need that.
But
But
don't
anyway.
get it on your hands, just let it drop.
Anyway, this is the ending category. Brought it all together, boosted it up to the highest rank I can give. My favorite anime so far, so I will give it an A+. It would have been like an A-, but the ending brought it right up to the best rating I can give it. So, what about you guys?
Well, I absolutely despise this anime, and I hope everybody who made it burns in hell. No, I loved this anime. This was definitely tied for my second favorite. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll give it an A.
All right.
By the way, it's tied for my first favorite. So
Yeah, he's at a tough spot with his first.
Yeah, it was tied for favorite.
Yeah, for me, this wasn't my first favorite anime. This was my second, and it might be my third, but I don't know. Overall though, it was a really, really good anime, and I enjoyed it more than a lot of the other ones that I've seen so far. Mainly because of the story. I've always loved stories that involve like gaming and where people get kind of trapped in video games or sucked into video games. They have to play the game to get out. I've always loved that concept. So mainly because of that, and because of how well the story was executed, how well everything was done. I think this would probably average out to a B+. I don't think it was, like I said, it wasn't my favorite, but I think it was really good. I'd probably say it was probably my third favorite anime.
I hope you guys enjoyed this Sword Art Online dubbed review. I was personally excited to finally do this review. and I hope you guys. I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it before. I spoiled a lot for you, but I hope you enjoyed this review. Leave a comment on what you thought of the review and the anime itself. Don't be afraid to give us a like, and I will leave links in the description to Simply Snippy and K9's channels. Check them out; they're both awesome. And I will see you guys at the next dubbed review.